Okay. So I want us to sketch, girls, I want us to sketch f of x is equal to x. Oh, I'm not projecting. There you go. X squared minus 3x minus 10 over x squared plus 6x plus 8. Isn't f of x and y the same thing?
Yeah.
That's why.
You want to confuse us. That's why.
Oh, we know this.
Is this new material?
It's what we were doing yesterday, so you could just continue from yesterday's notes. Whiteboards, it's only 2 problems. We don't need to do whiteboards. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, so what is the first thing I'm going to recommend we do? Good, factor. So we're going to factor the numerator. And when we factor the numerator, we will have x minus 5, x plus 2. And then we are going to factor the denominator. When we factor the denominator, we are going to get x plus 4, x plus 2. What do we realize now? The x plus 2's, they cancel, which tells us in this graph there will be a hole. Let's actually do that first so we don't forget. So we know we're going to have a hole. And the hole is going to be when x plus 2 equals 0. So then x will equal negative 2. But now I need to find the corresponding y coordinate that goes with that hole. So we found the x coordinate. Now I need to find the corresponding y coordinate. In order to do that, we are going to take our simplified version, y equals x minus 5 over x plus 4. And now we are going to plug in. So I'm going to let x equals negative 2. So then I'm going to have negative 2 minus 5 over negative 2 plus 4. Yeah. So then we're going to get y is equal to negative 7 over positive 2. As a decimal, what's negative 7 over positive 2? Negative 3.5, right? So our whole will be negative 2 comma negative 3.5. Mm-hmm. Nope, you don't have to. It's just sometimes easier to plot when it's a decimal, but you don't have to. Okay, so we went straight to the whole because we saw that it canceled out and we didn't want to forget, but what do I have to go back to now? The domain first, yeah? So the domain, out of all the ones that we do, like the domain, the vertical asymptote, all of that stuff, the only one I use the original for is the domain and the whole, because we cancel those out, right? But everything else after that, we use the simplified version of it. So for the domain, I'm going back to the original, and I'm going to take that denominator and set it equal to 0. And we know it cannot equal 0. There we go. So now we factor, and we have x plus 4, x plus 2. Set each one equal to 0. X plus 4 cannot equal 0. X plus 2 cannot equal 0. So x cannot equal negative 4, and x cannot equal negative 2. That's the domain. Now what am I going to look at? Vertical asymptote. For the vertical asymptote, is it the original or the simplified version? simplified. So for the vertical asymptote, we have y is equal to x minus 5 over x plus 4. We're going to take that denominator, set it equal to 0, and we will have a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 4. Then we will go on to our zeros. And for zeros, we're going to take our simplified, y equals x minus 5 over x plus 4, and this time we're going to set our numerator equal to 0. So we will have a 0 at x equals 5. Now we're going to talk about our horizontal or slant asymptote. And again, we're using our simplified version. And we're going to take the limit as x approaches plus or minus infinity. And then we take the most influential on top, which is x, over the most influential on the bottom, which is x. What does that simplify down to? 1. So we are going to have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 1. With the holes, no. I'll only give you horizontal with the holes. It could happen that there's a slant, but just none of the ones I have. All right, now we're going to ask ourselves, do we cross? So I'm going to take x minus 5 over x plus 4, set it equal to 1. The x's cancel, and negative 5 does not equal 4, so does it cross? No. Are we ready to sketch? Okay, let's do it. All right, so we have a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 4. We have a 0 at x equals 5. We have an open circle at x equals, the point negative 2 comma 3.5, so negative 2, and then down 1, 2, 3.5. Right around here. Oop, that should be an open circle. We have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 1. And we are not crossing that horizontal asymptote. So now there's only one vertical asymptote. We need to know what's going on to the left of the vertical asymptote and to the right of the vertical asymptote. Do we have enough guidance for the right part? I think so. So coming here, we're undefined at that open circle, but then we keep going and hug the asymptotes. I don't know what's going on to the left of the vertical asymptote, so what am I going to recommend we do? Test. Very good. So we use our simplified version, x minus 5 over x plus 4. What x value should I test? negative 5. So y will equal negative 5 minus 5 over negative 5 plus 4. So y will equal negative 10 over negative 1, which is positive 10. What does that tell us? We are negative 5 and above the horizontal asymptote, right? That's all I really care about. Are we above it or are we below it? Because now we know that we're above the horizontal asymptote, so we know we're just going to curve in this sort of quadrant right there. And this is our graph. All right, try one on your own, and then we will call it a day. We'll call it a week because you guys drop tomorrow.
No study guide?